Welcome back. Our topic for this unit is argumentation. In particular, we'd like to introduce the idea of arguing. Let us recall that in doing philosophy, what we're going to be doing is actually working with things we take to be true in some manner and using our logic, our ability to perceive the implication of those truths, and then engaging in reasoning. We are going to engage in this process of reasoning, which is synonymous with what we call argumentation. Let us first begin by looking at what is known as the fact-theory distinction. A fact is a type of belief, actually, which is supported by sensorial evidence. To say something is a fact is to say that it is true based on sense experience, all of your senses. Something that you can see, something that you can hear, something that you can touch, you can taste. Anything that affects the senses can be said to be a fact. For example, a recognized fact. The American flag is red, white, and blue. Recognized because you have seen it. I have seen it. Although we're not looking at it right now, we can refer to this as a fact. Facts are those that are perceived by the individual. Okay? There's another type of thing we want to call a truth, but not a fact. That's beliefs. Theories. Theories, we want to use this concept very loosely here. Theories will refer to things that are supported most immediately by reasoning or argumentation of some sort. We want to split this up a little bit, just a tiny bit, so that we could be clear about what we're talking about. Certain things are facts. For example, take water. Water is moist. Water is cooling. Those are facts. We have experienced that. But if someone said that water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen molecule, is that a fact? Well, it's not. That is a theoretical statement. Water being moist is something we can experience. It's being composed of hydrogen and oxygen molecule is a theory. We cannot experience hydrogen and oxygen molecule. We use the atomic theory, the scientific atomic theory, to explain how things are composed. That is fine, but that is still a theory. If you can understand that theories and facts are different from one another, we can go to the next level. In philosophy, we deal a lot with theories. And a lot of people enter into a classroom of philosophy thinking, oh, it's only theories. And somehow they feel like they've got the jump on the philosophers. But in real life, the majority of your life is based on theories. Whether you're an auto mechanic, whether you are a businessman on Wall Street, whether you are a doctor or a nurse, your area of specialization depends on knowledge, which may have begun somewhere on facts, but is now purely theoretical, because what you're working on are theories. Theories of how things ought to operate. And when you apply the theories, things occur just as you would expect them. But let's move on. We are going to look at theories. When we engage in doing philosophy, we will be using what we call reasoning. Reasoning and argumentation are very close concepts. Reasoning is a subjective process in which you try to convince yourself something is true. If you are a scientist trying to figure out whether water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen molecule, you run a series of tests, and after many tests, you'll say, yes, that's what it's composed of. In reasoning, you try to figure things out yourself. It's an intellectual activity. You're trying to convince yourself. In argumentation, it's something different. When you argue, you're trying to convince the other person. Someone wants to convince you that they saw Santa Claus riding his sleigh across the sky. Now, needless to say, they may have actually experienced that. There may be many reasons why, but let them try to convince you of that. And when they do that, they'll have to give you an argument. And you're going to be asking a lot of questions. Argumentation is that. It's the objective presentation of evidence with reasoning to convince someone to accept a certain conclusion.